I think there's a lot of people out there that just want to genuinely help you.
You don't actually need all of that money.
I think that the INDEStove in itself is a rascal idea.
Inside this episode of Revenue Rascals, we're cooking up something special with the INDEStove, the brand built on independence, grit, and customer-funded growth. It's Veterans Day as I record this, and my guest, a veteran turned founder, proves you don't have to quit your 9-to-5 or chase other people's money to build something extraordinary. From the spark of an idea to a business that fuels freedom lovers, outdoorsmen, and preppers alike, this episode will remind you that sometimes the best capital is your own courage. Tune in and learn why independent cooking isn't just about what's on the stove. It's about how you build your life. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Revenue Rascals. And today I have Paul Raymond, creator, inventor, CEO, and founder of the INDEStove. And I am so excited to share this really cool product that I found out in the wild with my listeners. So for those of you that don't know, I live in Park City, Utah, and Utah, northern Utah, specifically around the Lehigh area, is just known for invention, innovation, startups, entrepreneurial community. And it's part of why I absolutely love living in Utah. So I went down to an event a few weeks ago, and it was a small business expo, and I'm walking around to all the booths to meet all the people, and Paul caught my eye. And so I chatted with Paul for quite a bit and just really loved what he has to deliver, his heart behind it, the quality of the product, the innovativeness of the product, and thought, you know what? I'm going to have Paul on the show. So welcome, Paul Raymond. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for having me, Michelle.
I'm so excited. This is going to be a great conversation. So let's talk about the INDEStove. So just to frame it for everybody here, I secretly want to be like Annie Oakley. Okay, just everybody should know that. Like, I would love to live on a big giant farm, wilderness, all the things, horses, animals. Like, I paint my nails, they look beautiful, but I don't mind if they're dirty. That's kind of my personality, right? So when I saw your stove, because I love barbecuing and grilling and camping, all these things, I was like, wow, this is really cool. So Paul, tell us about the INDEStove and what gave you the idea.
The INDEStove is a really unique invention. It's a portable, collapsible cook stove. The top of it is a griddle. The inside you can bake in or you can grill inside. It's got multiple fuel sources, and it all folds up and it goes in a bag, and you can take it with you anywhere. And so you basically have all the uses of your home stove, but you can do it anywhere, which is really cool. So I worked on various different stoves over the years and just playing around and tinkering with different things. And this stove was really unique because a lot of it just kind of came to me. In fact, one morning I woke up and I looked and I had I could see this stove, and it was so weird and so unique. And I ran into my office and I drew it up, and that design that I drew up that day is the exact design of the INDEStove. It's pretty crazy.
That is pretty wild. So have you always been a bit of like a tinkering inventor, or like, what is your background?
I think so. I think I've always tried to find ways to make things better and to do things better. And I spent a lot of time in the outdoors cooking, with Boy Scouts way back and with my family and grandkids and just friends. And I always thought there was a better way to cook. And so I was trying to find a way to eat better meals, like way out in the backcountry, because you're really limited on what type of meals you could eat and what way you could cook it. You're either trying to use a griddle and I own everything. I own all different kinds of cooking appliances, and some of my own too of, but I always found myself taking one or two things at one time, and I'm like, there's just got to be a better way. And so that's where the INDEStove is. It's a better way.
I love it. So one thing that caught my eye, and perhaps I'm uninformed and something else does this, but I don't think so, was that you could bake. So I could be in the middle of nowhere and like make some brownies.
Absolutely. brownies, cookies, bread, pizza. It doesn't matter. I've done them all, like in the most remote places in southern Utah. Just gone down with my wife, and we've taken mixes and made stuff, and we've had incredibly good pizza and rolls and all kinds of stuff in the most crazy places you could even imagine. And they always turn out really good.
So, Paul, the marketer in me, the person who wants to build the go-to-market plan right now, I'm thinking about your social medias, and you could literally be the INDEStove in the wild, right? So it's like, oh, we're packing up our brownie mix, and then you record yourself in the middle of nowhere having brownies, and that goes on like your Instagram. So I'm already planning what I think should be on your social media because I'm so excited for you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so I hope you do that and you tag me in it. So talk to me a little bit about why now? Why is the INDEStove now? Like what was the final thing that was like, that's it, we're going to market?
So there were a lot of things that just transpired over a period of time. And I had the idea and was trying to, see if it was feasible and see if it was something that I could actually do. And things just worked out. I got some really good advice on manufacturing, which is a big part of it. And so got the manufacturing piece worked out through a friend of mine. And things just worked out, and it wasn't easy. There were some challenges all along the way. A lot of things just fell in place, though, and that's why the timing is now. Is just things just kind of fell in place. President Trump made it challenging with his tariffs because I had things set up ready to roll, and all of a sudden got an extra $20,000 bill, on top of everything. And that was a very unexpected expense. And so there's just been little challenges like that all the way, but just been able to work through them, and things have fallen in place, and products here, and it's ready to sell. And I'm so excited to get it in people's hands and get them using it and putting some good comments and good reviews. And because I really feel like everybody's going to love this product. So it's so cool.
Yeah, I remember when I was at the booth and I was like, so how do you keep it from being messy? That was my first question, because I'm like, I want to cook and I don't want the cleaning. Like, oh my gosh, dishes, cleaning, I'd rather do really anything else in my life. So, and you were so quick to be like, no, this is so easy, Michelle. It's not going to be messy. So tell us about how easy it is to clean up too.
So it was really cool because I believe you looked at the fuel tray that sits on the bottom, and you said, how am I going to keep that from getting everything in my bag messy? And I said, got the answer. We actually have thought that through. So the fuel tray actually goes in its own bag. So it goes in there, zips up. And so it goes inside the bag, but it's in its own bag. So nothing transfers. So you don't get any of that ash or anything on the griddle or on the grill. And really the only two things you have to clean on it is the grill and the griddle. And besides that, everything stays pretty clean, except for the fuel tray, of course. And you just dump it out, and it's just always going to have a little ash in it, stuff, which is not a big deal. But you just put it in a separate bag, and it's never a problem. So super, super easy.
Yeah, I loved hearing that. So tell us about how it is fuel. So tell us a little bit about how it works, how it cooks.
So right now, the fuel tray that's in it is for wood or charcoal. And so you can start a fire in it, or you can start charcoal in it, or if you want to use a charcoal chimney and start it and however you want to do it, you just put that right on the tray. And so it's got some vents on the side, so it gets good airflow, and you can adjust that, and you can adjust the temperature a little bit with those. And so that's what there is right now. But there is a propane burner that is almost done. So yeah, we've been back and forth with different groups, and hope to have the first propane burner here hopefully in a couple of weeks. I'll test it, and so we'll have propane, wood, charcoal, and I'm even looking at doing a pellet burner tray as well, and an electric burner, and putting in an electric. Because what I really want to do is when I go to trade shows is I want to just plug in an electric burner and actually cook stuff at the show. and I could cut it up in small pieces and give people samples. But I'll tell you what, I would draw a lot of people into the booth if I was cooking some bread or some cinnamon rolls or whatever.
Yes, you would.
And it would be really cool. So I want at least one electric burner, but there may be some people that want that as well. So it'll have lots of different fuel sources in the future.
So for me, my sales brain, my go-to-market brain, I'm like, I can see the bundles on your website, right? So just the stove, but then here's the fuel sources you can have. So add this, add this, add this. It always gets me whenever I bought like a camera recently, and it's a POV camera, point of view. So like you wear it and it like shows, clearly records what you're looking at. I wanted it for horseback riding. I was totally a sucker for an ad that I saw of this woman riding her horse, and like you could see everything in front because she had this camera on. So, and I also realized, because everybody's selling this point of view camera, that it's definitely like, you know, one of those white labels that a whole bunch of people have picked up and is selling everywhere. So I bought one of the brands, but it was funny because like during checkout, it's like, add the solar charger, like add this, add this, add this. And like, because I appreciate that increased cart value of a strategy, I was like, way to go, guys. You just had me double my cart value, right? So in my mind, you know, I think of INDEStove, like that'll be a great option depending on like what type of adventurer you are and, you know, what you do want, because, you know, depending on the environment you're in, you may want all of the different sources. Like I love pellets. I like the flavor of pellets. Like I'm a pellet gal. You know, I just think that it adds like an extra little bit to it. So Paul, tell me a little bit about what you were doing before this. Like what led you up to the INDEStove?
So, like I said, I just spent a lot of time outdoors. I work with the military still, and that's my day job. I'm doing this on the side, and so I'm a strategic planner for the military, and so that's what I do full time. And that's what I've been doing for a long time, various things within the military area. But I just spend a lot of time outdoors.
Paul, we're recording on Veterans Day, so I think I should I say Happy Veterans Day to you? I think I should. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I had the chance to go to elementary school with my grandkids today on Veterans Day, and it was so awesome to just hang out there with them. It was good.
I'm sure that was good. So as a strategic planner in the military and then being an inventor and creating your own product, like I am all about talking about the transition, or I'm sorry, the transferable skills from one thing to another. So I would love if we could just talk a few minutes about, like, you know, you didn't wake up one day and decide the INDEStove, and like all the time you spent outside also wasn't enough for you to create the INDEStove. So what skills did you learn in the military, or what skills have you grown over the years in various jobs that that helped you like get this product to market?
So I would say one of the biggest skills that I have is the ability to see things through as a planner and a strategic planner, like coming from concept and working through all the challenges to get it all the way completed, to get those projects completed. And so that skill, just planning, has helped me a ton in this, and being able to see the different steps that I need to go through. And once I learned all the different steps, it's been super helpful. It's like when you were talking earlier about accessories. It's like I already have 2 accessories with the stove. Got a workspace, what I call a stack. The INDEStove is basically a modular stove, and so you can stack different things on it. And I've got another stack called a short stack that's going to come out, that's going to replace the big oven box in case you don't want to use the big oven box and you want to just use the griddle. And so you can get the griddle closer to the heat. And so it's allowed me to really think outside the box for different accessories and for getting all those accessories done, and hopefully getting them done in the right order that consumers will want them. But by the time it's done, the INDEStove is going to be like a Jeep. It's going to have so many accessories that people will be able to buy the base camp stove, and they'll be able to accessorize it with whatever fuel they want, what other accessories they want, and they're going to have they're going to be able to have anything they want in their stove, put it in a bag, and just take off and take it with them. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I love it. So clearly you're going to be doing direct to consumer. So you have you have a website, people can go buy it.
Yep.
But tell us a little bit about what you have thought through as your strategy of going to market, where you want to be. And honestly, if there's something that's top of mind that you're like, oh, I wish I had X or I wish I knew X. A lot of people listen to this show. So let's talk about it. A big reason I created this show was so that other people could connect through my show. And so I hope somebody's listening that you need, but let's just talk about that a little bit.
I don't think anyone can predict the future.
I like to try.
I'd like to try too, but my strategy in going forward is just to sell retail online, drop ship product to everyone, and build the brand. I want to get a good base of users that really love this stove and get the reviews, get the grassroots support, and just lay a really good foundation for this product. The one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to get into stores, don't want to get into distributors and wholesalers too soon because I'm afraid that it's such a good product. I could talk them into putting it into their stores perhaps, but it may just sit on their shelf because people don't know what it is. And so I've got to get that out. I've got to build that. And then my plan is to go get it in stores and then build it from there. And so that's kind of the plan.
So I had an episode, I think it was 3 episodes, Caitlin of Lady Boss. Maybe you want to go back and listen to it if you haven't or not. But she sells supplements, women's supplements. And the biggest way that she has created a tribe is she has a community of users of the product. So I think it's like 20 or 30, maybe even 40,000 people. And she has a Facebook community and everyone shares like recipes they use in conjunction with like her protein powder, or they'll be, motivated, like I did 100 push-ups today, or like whatever it can be. And so what I'm hearing from you, which I love, is that you want to sell through your tribe. So creating a tribe of people who are like, this is stove, right? Like this is everything for us. So have you thought through, other than reviews and getting a few users, like how you can really make that community sticky?
Yeah. And I think that another way to do it that I'm planning on using is through influencers, through, using them to spread it to their tribes and spreading it that way. There's so much out there. I've got a friend whose wife has a cooking blog with like over 1 million followers.
Oh, perfect.
I haven't talked to her yet. I've talked to her husband, but I need to talk to her. And, but I want to get her to get some recipes because I want to get everybody to send in recipes because all the different ways I've cooked on this stove, I know that there are so many other really good ideas and different ways to cook on this stove. And I want to get those coming in and I want to share them with everybody. And, I want it to just be a fun place where people can share those ideas and they can go out and just have a good time. I know my wife and I like to overland, and so we're always trying different things when we're out overlanding. And so there's a lot of different groups and tribes, as you call them. And it's just, I just want to get in with the right ones and, that have some shared values and about taking care of the outdoors, but also eating some really good food while they're out there.
Yes, I love that so much. And Christmas is around the corner. So if you have an outdoorsy person in your life that wants a great gift, people should be able to get it just in time.
This would be an incredible gift. And for somebody who wants to get something that nobody else has on the whole planet, this is the cooking stove. And it's not just because it's different. I would dare say it's a little ahead of its time. I mean, once I show people the stove, they're like, when they get it, you can just see the lights come on. They're like, oh my gosh, you can cook. So I can griddle on the top and I can bake and I can grill and I can do all these things. And it's like, you can do all that stuff. And so showing it in person is like my favorite thing because I love seeing that light go on people. And I like when they come up and say, well, but what about this? And what about that? And say, it'll do all those things. So.
You know what I was just thinking about right now is like a non-traditional use for your stove is so I've remodeled 3 homes, built one over like the last, I don't know, 15 years of my life. And when that kitchen is out and all you have is the microwave or the toaster oven or the air fryer, like in my head right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I had an INDEStove when I built my house, like it wouldn't have been that painful not to have my kitchen for a while.
The other thing I was going to add along with that is
Yeah.
if there's ever an emergency anywhere on the planet and you lose gas and electricity and or something happens where things get hacked or it's a natural disaster or whatever, you would really like to have an INDEsTove because it kind of cracks me up thinking of all the people that have all that wheat stored in their basement. It's like, what are you going to do with all that wheat? It's like, how are you going to bake bread and how are you going to do all these things? And I've actually taken wheat, hand ground it, made dough and cooked and made some awesome bread in this thing. And it's kind of crazy, but like right at 300 degrees, it works just like your oven at home. It bakes beautifully at like 300 degrees. Like it works so good.
That's amazing. That actually is really funny. I never thought about that with all the preppers and like the
Oh,
fun, like, yeah,
yeah.
how you gonna cook it?
But I think you could cook anything that you've got stored in your basement or hidden away somewhere in the INDEsTove. I would put it up against any stove anywhere on this planet in that situation.
I just thought
So,
of another great social media campaign as like this stove versus this stove.
oh yeah, yeah.
Which one is gonna beat it out? So, what is your marriage? You have your wife, kids, grandkids. What do they think about your stove?
They think it's pretty awesome. They don't talk a lot about it. Now it's done. All of a sudden they're very interested. They didn't want to
Ooh.
hear about everything that went into all the work that had to be done getting it there. But now they're all interested and they're super excited because I'm giving them all one for Christmas and they're going to get to go use it. And so,
I
yeah,
love that. That's a great, yeah. I mean, this is the year to gift all of your family their INDEstoves, right?
yeah, for sure.
So, what is one thing about business that most people would agree on, but you disagree on?
I think there's kind of this perception on businesses that you have to have a ton of money to make something happen. If you've got a dream, whatever it is, it's there's this perception that you've got to have money to make money, and I think that to a degree that's true, but also I think there's a lot of people out there that just want to genuinely help you and want to see you be successful. And so I think there's ways that if you're, a new entrepreneur and you've got this great idea, it's just a matter of getting it to the right people and having them help you. And I'll add to that, just along those same lines, when you do that, I would keep your ownership. Don't give up ownership in your dream and your product. And, hang on to that as long as you can, because that's what's going to really make the difference. And being able to make decisions on how it's developed and just day-to-day decisions are so much easier when you don't have to do it in a group. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also a bit of like the Tech Valley Lehigh mentality of how much money can I raise? How much equity can I give away? How many people can I hire from day one? Like it's a very SaaS startup mentality. But I love what you shared right now because it is so powerful. Like you don't actually need all of that money. Absolutely not. There's so many different ways to fund yourself or one thing I always like to say is, when they say it's founder and it's founder led and it was like bootstrapped or whatever, the expression of bootstrapped. So yes, there's a little bit of bootstrapping there, but I prefer the model, which I feel like you're doing is that you bootstrap to a certain degree to get it out the door, but then you go customer funded growth versus other people's money focused, right? So, OPM. Do you want OPM? Do you want other people's money? Because the game totally changes when you take other people's money. And I have seen it, as a CRO, I've been in organizations that were customer funded or bootstrapped. And I've also been part of, where they took a lot of people's money. And it's interesting because it can really influence how you make decisions, to your point, right? And not only slow decisions, but you also might not be able to do all the things you wanted to do with your product. So I don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way, but I think it's personality focused and it's, what are you selling, etc. So I'm excited that you're bootstrapped and customer funded.
Exactly. And I did a Kickstarter and raised some money doing that. And had I know the tariffs were going to be in place, I probably would have done a little bit bigger and longer Kickstarter to raise some extra money. But everything that I'm doing, I'm just putting back into it. I'm putting it all back into product, and I'm just going to build it that way. And feel really good about that. And I don't plan on quitting my day job anytime soon, and just keep this thing rolling. And one day, my hope is just that this stove gets out to a lot of people and they really enjoy it. That's going to be the satisfaction for me in this whole process.
Oh, I think that's absolutely going to happen. I have kind of like this sixth sense. I wanted to come talk to you at the show. I could just tell. I was gravitated towards the stove, towards you. And not that I'm great at guessing who's going to succeed and who's not, but I kind of am. And I have really great feelings about this stove. I think it's going to be an extraordinary thing that's going to change a lot of people's lives and, give yourself that financial freedom as well. All right, rascals, let me ask you this. How much money have you wasted replacing shoes, sneakers, or even bags that could have lasted way longer if only you'd been taken better care of them? I know for me, running from meetings to kids' activities, life gets messy fast. And that's why I always have Jason Mark Quick Wipes on hand. Jason Mark is trusted care to help you get the most out of what you wear. They're not just about cleaning. They're about protecting what you love while protecting the planet. Their wipes are now 100% plant-based and plastic-free, made from renewable lyocell fibers. They're individually wrapped so you can toss them in your bag, your car, or like me, your kids' backpacks. And it's not just convenience. Jason Mark is part of the worldwide B Corp movement, meeting the highest standards for social and environmental impact. They're EPA Safer Choice certified, so you know the formulas are safe for your family. And their products are USDA, bio-based, and certified biodegradable. That means no harmful junk like PFAS or VOCs. Just high-performance care that keeps your stuff looking fresh while doing right by the planet. Personally, as a busy mom and entrepreneur, Quick Wipes are my favorite. They've saved my sneakers from coffee spills, playground dust, you name it. One wipe and I'm ready to walk into my next meeting looking sharp. So here's the deal. Go to jasonmark.com and use promo code Revenue Rascals at checkout for 25% off your order. One time per customer. Again, that's jasonmark.com, code Revenue Rascals. And remember, this podcast is free. Thanks to sponsors like Jason Mark, I'm ungating sales strategies people pay me six figures for. So go support them, grab your Quick Wipes or your favorite product, and keep your kicks looking fresh. The other thing that I wanted to bring up of what you had said is that you're keeping your day job while you're doing this on the side. Yeah. And I think this is really important for people to hear because I have been privy to a lot of business coaches or, other founders or CEOs that are like, go all in. You can't have any success unless you basically almost starve your family and you have to sell. I don't go with that. That's not my jam. Why? No. Why do we have to do all or nothing? Why can't we build smart and responsibly? And when we're ready, we're ready. Or maybe we're not ready. Maybe it's going to be that way for a while. I just hate that there's so many people talking about how it's almost like you have to suffer, go all in. The risk has to be so extraordinarily high that there's no other, because I'm like, that sounds pretty desperate energy. And that creates an entire different energy around your brand. So maybe you can share a little bit about how you made that decision of no, I'm not going to just ditch everything and do this. So talk to my audience about that.
For me, I really enjoy my day job for one. And I really enjoy all the things I do, and I really enjoy the people I get to work with. And so I'm not ready to walk away for that reason, but the reason that I'm not ready to just jump in head first in this is, man, there's some serious risk in doing that. And so it
Mhm.
needs to happen it needs to happen at the right time. As soon as, I get to the point where I need to start hiring people, I already have been hiring marketing and social media people to help me out. They've been doing a fantastic job on the Facebook and Instagram and things of that nature. But at some point, it's going to grow and it's going to be beyond me. Once it gets outside my influence of my friends and family, and it starts taking a life of its own, and it really takes off, and there's the income there to pay myself and to hire some people. I think that will probably be the right time to maybe retire from the day job, and you know we'll see. But I plan on working at least another year or two, and working on things that I'm working with there. And I'm just hoping that this will grow, and I think it will grow, and I'll just keep doing what's necessary to keep it moving forward, and do it in the evenings and on weekends. And there's a lot of shows on the weekend. And so it's not leaving me a lot of spare time to do things, but my family's bought in, and so they're behind it. And so I just think it's a really cool item. I've had folks from other countries contacting me and about doing the product in other places. And so there's a great group up at the World Trade Center in Salt Lake that when you start getting into international thing, they have some really great outreach that they can help you with too as well. So
That's awesome. Oh, I didn't know about that actually. Maybe you
yeah.
can share a little bit more about the trade center and how it helps you.
Well, they have, I just met them and they're
Oh,
like,
great.
we will help you with because my big question is, how do you do legal agreements, with Japan or with Germany or other places? And they're like, you know what, we can help you through all that stuff. And that's what we do. And so I'm in the process of, contacting them and working with them. And then they just connect you with, there are so many different outlets to help. And there's another business that sells outdoor products in the Middle East. And hey, do you want to, are you interested in selling it in the Middle East? And I thought, well, yeah, the INDEStove should be everywhere. So it's not just limited to the Rocky Mountains. I'd like to get it everywhere in the world one day. So yeah.
You know what? A military contract. Wink, wink. I mean, you can use it anywhere, right? You could be in combat and use it.
For
So
sure.
just
Or
saying, just
or
saying.
or with FEMA. Wink, wink. Yeah.
FEMA. Oh
Yeah, it
my
would be
gosh,
good.
yes. That's another, oh my gosh, there's so many places this stove needs to go. So many places, so many places. All right. So tell me, Paul, a little bit about the most rascal thing that you have ever done in business where you disrupted, broke some rules, or innovated in a way that just shook things up. And I know you're on your beginning of your journey, but something had to happen.
So honestly, I think that the INDEStove in itself is a rascal idea because it is so different than anything out there. There's been other stoves that kind of do different things, but just the way it looks, the way it functions, the way you can stack different things, the modularity, it is like so out of the box that the hardest thing that I have is like getting people to understand that. And when they see it and they use it, they're just like, this is so easy and you can cook it. But I want to say, in just designing and getting this whole product to market, it has been out of the box. It's been very challenging. And I have yet to have anybody come up and say, oh yeah, that looks cool, but I love my Traeger. And I'm like, yeah, I love my Traeger too, and my Blackstone, but I don't take them with me when I go outdoors, or when I go travel. And, it doesn't really work. And so this whole concept, this whole idea, getting this done pretty much on my own. I can't say I've done it on my own. I've had some great support from different business people who have given me great guidance, and manufacturers that have helped guide me to good manufacturing, and some other things that I'm very grateful for everybody who has helped me along the way, and I always will be. I'll be grateful for the first podcast that I ever did, which is this
on
one
Revenue Rascals.
on Revenue Rascals, and I hope someday when it's when things are rolling really good, that you can have me back, and I'd love to come back and thank you and just let people know how it's going. So,
Paul, we should do like an anniversary interview, like 1 year from the day that you sell your first one, right? Till 1 year later. That would
be awesome. We could do one every year, have an anniversary one every year, when we go from selling the first 250 stoves to the first 1,000 to the first 10,000 to the first 100,000. And
that would make me happy to show that evolution. And, not that I found you, but I found you. So
no, it would be great. And I'd love to share, kind of how the business has grown and what I've had to do to expand, and the different ways I've been able to give back, if it is successful, and helping in the community and doing other things, because I'm all about that. So
yes, I absolutely love it. All right. So we're going to wrap up this episode, making sure that everyone knows where they can go to get their stove. So where should my listeners go? What is your URL?
Go to INDEStove.com. There's stoves on there. I've got a couple hundred of them for sale before Christmas. I think they'll go fairly fast. And so if you're interested in one, want to buy a great Christmas present for your husband or friend, go to INDEStove.com, and we've got them here in Utah in a warehouse, and they'll just drop ship them right to your house. So
INDEStove is INDE, correct?
Correct. INDE.
Okay.
Yep, like independent.
Now I get it. So is that how that was the inspiration? So you could be independent.
Correct.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We got to spend like 30 seconds on the name, because I totally skipped that. So we're going to close out in 30 seconds, but tell me how you came up with INDEStove, the name.
I didn't know what to name it. And it's so hard to name a company or name a product. And I had a bunch of different names. There were so many names, but in doing so, you've got to find, okay, is the URL available? Is it trademarked? Is it this? Is it that? And so you've got to make sure all these things are done. And somebody mentioned it to me, and I told my wife, I'm like, yeah, so-and-so likes INDEStove, as a name. And she comes back in and she goes, oh, you've got to use it. And I'm like, why? And she said, because it means it's exactly what you've done. It means you're independent and you've done this, basically on your own. And it kind of caters to your markets where people can cook independently. They're not, having to use canned recipes. They can cook any way they want on this. It really opens up the whole book for independence, independent living, independent cooking, independent business ownership. And so I thought that's a great idea. And so that's what we went with. So.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we just talked about that in the last 30 seconds. That's awesome. But you're right. It's so hard to name something, but I love the name. And now that I know the meaning, I love it even more. So cool. Paul, thank you so much for your time today. And I cannot wait to try out an INDEStove.
Awesome. I'm sure you'll have one day soon enough. So.
It's on the plan. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for listening to Revenue Rascals, where we turn bold ideas into predictable revenue and prove that breaking the rules can still build empires. If you love what you heard, do me a favor. Tap the links in the show notes to support our sponsors. They're the ones keeping this show free, so I can keep ungating the six-figure strategies that help you scale faster, lead smarter, and take more freedom home with you. And hey, if you think you'd make an incredible guest or know someone who's built something worth studying, email me at hello@michelleterpster.com. And until next time, stay sharp, stay bold, and stay just a little bit rascal.